For as long as the internet has been around, the Sonic fandom has been known for having all kinds of weird people online who've done some really crazy stuff to show their appreciation for Sonic. Ever since the early internet days, Sonic fans have been sharing their stuff everywhere. Even when forums were slow and basic, people were already posting images of Sonic characters in diapers or without their shoes on. And when the internet got faster and more popular, it just made it even easier for fans to spread and share more Sonic fan media. Forums, DeviantArt, fanfiction sites, you name it. It gave them all a place to post whatever they wanted. Most Sonic fan content is pretty normal. People make cool fan games, animations, comics, there's a ton of good stuff out there. But because there are so many Sonic fans and some of them are furries with questionable interests, it's basically guaranteed that some disturbing and inappropriate stuff is going to show up as well. And that's exactly why the Sonic fandom has such a negative reputation online. There's just so much bizarre fan content. A life-sized Sonic sex doll, a comic about Tails eating shit. Today, we are diving into some of the most disturbing pieces of Sonic fan media. Sonichu is a comic that was created by our Lord and Savior, Chris Chan. In case you don't know who Chris Chan is, which is kinda hard since he's literally the most documented person on the internet, there are plenty of videos out there that will tell you his whole life story for hours on end. But basically, Chris Chan is an autistic person with a hyperfixation on the Sonic series. He started a YouTube channel in 2007, where he would mainly post low-effort gameplay videos and vlogs.
To the creators of my favorite brand of body spray, apparently it has come to my attention that a bunch of people of the wrong orientation are using the Axe brand. By which I mean particularly the homosexuals.
He would also make videos talking about his comic called Sonichu, which used to be uploaded on his personal website. The comic is supposed to tell the story of Sonichu, an electric version of Sonic that was created after Pikachu and Sonic accidentally collided while fighting a monster. I say supposed to because Chris Chan eventually just made himself the center of attention in the comic, with Sonichu basically becoming a useless side character. I wish I could tell you the storyline of the comic, but I really can't, because Chris Chan is completely incapable of writing a coherent plot. Basically, every chapter is just a random series of events that usually have nothing to do with the previous ones. It honestly feels like a weird compilation of Family Guy cutaway jokes made by an autistic person.
If you want to take a shot at it, talk it out. Is it you stupid?
Most of the events that are featured in the comic are inspired by Chris Chan's real life, often including characters that are literally real people he knew, usually people he hated, so he could just kill or torture them in the comic. The confusing and random storyline isn't the only major problem, because as you have been seeing here, the artwork is just as bad, if not worse. Keep in mind, this was made by a 20-year-old Chris Chan, not a 3rd grader, and somehow, even after 10 years, the art style is still dog shit. Other than the confusing storyline and the horrendous art style, the comic has many other problems. There's a whole chapter about Chris trying to find a formula to cure the gay virus that had been turning people gay. And there are other chapters where the Sonichu characters just have sex the whole time. I will be honest with you, I tried to read the whole comic but stopped at issue 8 because if I continued I would probably have a brain aneurysm and die. And it's not like there's anything special about this comic. The only thing that made this comic popular in the first place was the individual who made it and his infamy online. Nevertheless, the Sonichu comics are still one of the most memorable pieces of Sonic fan media to this day. As far as I can remember, Sonic fan media has often been related to horror content. I mean, you probably know Sonic EXE, which is easily the most popular example of this. But really, almost every major horror game has eventually had someone make a Sonic version of it. And if we go back to 2014, another franchise was starting to blow up as well, Five Nights at Freddy's. It was a game where you watched security cameras to keep animatronics away from your office. A simple concept, but at the time there was nothing quite like it. It got so popular that its creator Scott Cawthon couldn't release sequels fast enough to satisfy the demand from Fnaf fans. As a result, tons of Fnaf fan games started popping up, and naturally, it was only a matter of time before someone made a Sonic-themed Fnaf fan game. And so, in 2015, the first Five Nights at Sonic's was released on GameJolt. Even though this game was basically just a copy of Fnaf 1 but with Sonic characters and for some reason Mario characters as well, every Fnaf YouTuber was playing this shit. This game is honestly a massive downgrade from the original Five Nights at Freddy's, since the only thing that really changes is the cosmetics, aka what you see on the screen, which, as you can see, is pretty dog shit. And that's because it wasn't even made in paint. The game's art was actually drawn on a Nintendo DS flip note, some Neanderthal type shit. Oh, and also the guy who made it was like 13 years old. So, the game looks terrible and half of the characters are from Super Mario, but what about the gameplay? It's literally just Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The only redeeming thing about this game is that the phone guy is the creator himself doing a Luigi impression, which is actually funny as fuck.
Hello? Hello? Oh, hey, you must be the new night guard. It's me, Luigi. I will be your guide through the nights. And also explain about this location. So,
I'm over here stroking my dick, I got lotion.
Five Nights at Sonic's 2 is yet another poorly made copy of Fnaf 2, though with slightly better art, I think. Again, for some reason, instead of adding new Sonic characters to replace the new animatronics introduced in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the creator decides to add even more Mario characters, with now more than half of the roster being Mario characters in a game that literally has Sonic in the title. Five Nights at Sonic's 3 is, you guessed it, another copy, and the same can be said about Five Nights at Sonic's 4. Only in the 5th game, and yes, this fan franchise has more than 5 games, did the creator finally decide to make something original. The game is alright, I guess, but it still looks ugly as fuck. And obviously, I wouldn't bother playing it when there are so many more interesting Fnaf fan games out there. Eventually, the creator took the games down from his GameJolt page, saying he didn't want to be associated with the series anymore. And that was pretty much the end of Five Nights at Sonic's, even though there were actually some pretty decent fan games made later on by other people who enjoyed the series. Two Babies, One Fox is the most fucked up comic you'll ever see in your life, so of course it was made by a Sonic fan. The comic was posted in 2013 by a user named Lonnie on the website Ink Bunny, and its title is a reference to the infamous Two Girls One Cup video. Which, in case you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it here, but just know it involves some nice ladies eating a large piece of shit. Just from that, you can already guess that what's coming in this comic is not good. And it really isn't. The story is about Tails spending time at the park when he notices Cream and her younger baby brother playing next to him, which makes him, a little too excited. Tails walks up to them and convinces them to go to a more hidden part of the park, and there he commits some of the most absurd crimes known to mankind. I can't go into detail about exactly what Tails does to Cream and her brother, because, you know, YouTube, but let's just say that Tails goes full P. Diddy mode on those kids, but instead of using baby oil, he uses shit. The comic didn't get much attention when it was initially released, but it ended up blowing up when one of the panels got really popular on 4chan. The panel in question is this one where we see Tails sitting on the bench plotting his disgusting plan. The meme would go on to be called Bench Tails. I actually made a whole video about the comic if you want to know more about it, and funnily enough, the original creator of the comic, who goes by the name Tecraudio on YouTube, even left a comment on it. He basically hit me with the classic "people make mistakes and you're just milking the content" excuse. Brother, people do make mistakes, but when we say mistakes, we mean like spilling your drink on your keyboard or bombing Iraq, not posting a porn comic about Tails eating shit with kids. And you say people can change, but you clearly didn't change at all. After making Two Babies, One Fox, you went on to make even more comics with the same disturbing nature. Look, when you post something online, expect people to criticize it. If you can't handle the criticism, don't post at all. Especially if what you're posting is something this fucking disgusting. I am very familiar with the struggle of getting a girlfriend. After all, I have been single my whole life and barely have contact with any other human beings. And after spending hours and hours googling and searching for effective ways to get a girlfriend, I have come to one conclusion. If you can't get one, make yourself one. Just like the person I'm going to talk about now, who made the life-sized sex doll of Sally Acorn from the Sonic series. Grandadine, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is a DeviantArt user who for the past 2 decades has been documenting his progress crafting a sex doll of Sally Acorn. If you scroll through his posts, it's actually kind of mesmerizing how this man managed to create a doll that straight up looks like someone in a fursuit. It's so detailed and lifelike, it just ends up looking uncanny. And if we take a look at the early photos he posted of the doll, it gets even scarier. At first glance, it honestly looks like some poor bastard at their bones repurposed for someone's Sonic sex doll. But nope, they are not human remains. This was clarified by the creator in a DeviantArt post after people started questioning the bones. In that post, he explained that the bones were actually carved out of wood to mimic real human bones. Which, I'm not gonna lie, is kinda impressive. The guy even said he read 2 whole books on human anatomy just to get it right. And he didn't stop there. He gave the doll muscle, tissue, and even realistic fur. So yeah, A lot of effort went into this Sally Acorn doll, but like, why? I get that Sonic fans, especially furries, can take things to some insane extremes when it comes to their fetishes, but spending 20 years of your life just so you could fuck a life-size Sonic doll, that's crazy. Even though the creator probably started making the doll to fuck it, it eventually turned into this guy's life project. That's why he goes to such extremes to make it look as realistic as possible, even though most of the time it just ends up looking creepy as hell. He even said in one post that he wanted to perfect the design so he could eventually mass-produce these dolls and sell them to other Sonic furries. And if you think nobody would buy that shit, let me tell you, there's a disturbing number of people who have already offered to pay for one. To this day, Grandadine is still finding ways to improve his Sally Acorn doll, and one can only hope that someday he actually finishes the project, so we can finally buy one. Guptil89 is a YouTuber who started his career back in the early days of YouTube, when everyone was basically trying to copy the success of Angry Video Game Nerd. People would just pick a game to review, set up a camera pointing at their face, and talk while reviewing it. And Guptil was no different. Even though he started off making random videos about Sonic, his content quickly shifted to game reviews. But to give him credit, his reviews were actually pretty different from Angry Video Game Nerd and Holly's copycats, because Guptil didn't curse at all or do any over-the-top reactions. He always tried to be as respectful as possible.
Let me tell you something. Myst is one of the most challenging games known to man. And why?
This was because he generally hated the idea of swearing in his videos. He even went as far as to make rants bitching about people who cursed in their videos.
I'm sure some folks will object to this complaint. The worst part about these guys is repeated profanity and vulgar actions.
This really hurt his reputation on YouTube, even though he had some fair points, like about kids using the platform. At the end of the day, these rants just made him come off like a little dictator, telling people what they could and couldn't say on the platform. Seeing that these rant videos only got him a ton of hateful comments, he switched formats once again, this time focusing on Sonic the Hedgehog entirely. It was during this period that Guptil89 uploaded his most infamous video on Sonic, something that would change his life forever.
Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the greatest and most attractive characters ever thought up. He can run at sound speed, take out enemies in a flash, and best of all, he's blue-colored and knows how to handle the females. Speaking of females, the Sonic universe might also be classified as hot chick heaven because there's such a mess of very beautiful and tough women that it'll make you love the franchise even more. And since Valentine's Day is around the corner, I've been inspired to make a top 10 list of the most beautiful female Sonic characters. Grab yourself a snack and a glass of orange juice and try not to reach through the screen because here we go!
He would go on to make this cringy-ass video ranking Sonic female characters based on their appearance. Needless to say, I don't think I need to tell you what happened next. The video got shit on by everyone on the platform, and Guptil89 was labeled a furry for ranking anthropomorphic animals based on how attractive they are, and also as a predator because several of the characters on the list were underage. The commentary he provided on each character didn't help either, often making him come off like a corny furry or just an overall creepy dude.
Cream the Rabbit's mother, Vanilla. She's attractive and is the size of an average human mother. What really surprises me about her is that the leader of Team Chaotic.
Shortly after posting it, Guptil removed the video from his channel for obvious reasons. But the damage was already done. and hundreds of people had already archived it for the whole internet to see. Hey guys, so while editing the final of the video, I finally noticed that I completely forgot to record an outro. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want a part 2, comment down below, and that's pretty much it. I love you, bye.